Let's talk about some grid layout customization capabilities enhancements to the RB version 9.20 update. You'll all be very happy to know that we've added end user capabilities to manipulate the columns in your own RB. In the previous version or the current version of RB9, this setting is a system preference, meaning you have to share the column order with everybody else at your company. So we've done a couple of things with this update. So let's talk about those changes to all the grid layout and look capabilities. The first one here is you'll notice the color of the text. We've actually changed the color of the text to a true black color for improved visibility. So that will help you in seeing the text a little bit better. We've also changed the fixed columns feature to sticky columns. So if you look at this first column here, it's now a sticky column, and to the right of that column it has that dark gray line, and if I scroll to the right you'll see it's a stuck column. So that's actually pretty neat. So it's easier in controlling the scrolling to the right and the left and the up and the down. There was a problem when you went up and down where the lines could get off. Now that'll actually help and improve the performance there as well. Okay, so that'll be nice. So a couple of things you can do with sticky columns. Let's talk about that. You can sticky, so the first column will usually be sticky in a lot of the functions, as you'll see, but you can sticky more than one column as well. So you can sticky the second column if you want to. And let me show you how you sticky additional columns. Notice here, each column has 3 dots. So there's options for every single column of data that displays in the results. If I click on the 3 dots, right now we're going to look at set column position, and we're going to go stick column. So we've stuck the job date column. And if I scroll, that column is stuck. So that's how it works. You can always stick the column to the right of the last one you previously stuck. So in this example, if I wanted to stick the status column, I can't go right here with it in this position and go set column position and stick it. You can't do that. There's 2 in between it that are not stuck. So if I wanted to stick the status column, well, that would lead us to dragging the status column to the position that I want and having it in the order that I want. So again, now I can take the status column, click and hold my left mouse button, and then drag it to where I want it, let go, and it will move the column. So you can do that now at a user level. All of you can do that on your own RB9. Now I can go up here, set column position, and stick. Of course, if you saw right there, another option, there's an unstick column. I could go here, maybe if I made a mistake, and then unstick. Okay, so you can stick and unstick. Other grid layout changes that you can do with the columns is if you click on the 3 dots, you can see we can sort ascending or sort descending. You don't have to click on the 3 dots to do that. You can still just simply click right here and it will sort by that column. So you don't have to do the 3 dots, but that's another option for you if you want to. And then lastly, let's look at this columns option. This is something that is very important and very nice as a feature as well. Here for the columns, we'll show you and have checked all of the default columns of display for the results that go from left to right. This is all of them. So a lot of you have asked, hey, I don't need this column. What do I do with it? Well, we would always just tell you, hey, just move all those columns you don't need to the far right. That way you don't have to look at them. But now, for the ones you don't want to see, period, you can simply uncheck the ones that are not necessary for you. And they will no longer appear. They're actually going to be gone from my display now. Okay? So drag and drop columns as you wish, sticky columns, sort columns. You can show or hide columns. Those are all some of the new changes you can do. And lastly, one of the main things you have to do after you change the columns to the way you want them, go down to the bottom right. This is the most important step. Click on Settings and Export and select Save Grid Layout. Without saving them, the next time you come back to this function, they're going to restore back to default. So make sure you save your changes. Now, one thing to note about saving changes. Saving your changes for the column layout changes is not supported on Internet Explorer 11. Okay? With that being said, we plan on ending support of Internet Explorer 11 on December 31st, 2021. So at the end of the year, RB9 will not even work with Internet Explorer 11 since it's such an old browser. So with that being said, that's why we did not allow the saving of the grids for IE11 because it's going to go away anyways. So now's the time to think about, if you're still using Internet Explorer 11, to switching to a newer browser, Chrome, Edge, Firefox, and you'll have the saving capabilities, which will be nice. Now let's talk about one other grid layout functionality change or enhancement. And it only affects one function, and that's going to be tasks in progress. So the task in progress function is for us to be able to see at a quick glance how many resources we have and all the tasks that they have outstanding that have not yet been completed. And the default view when we click search is just like this. We group everything by the resource. We can see at the top, Alice has 4 tasks that are still outstanding that are not yet completed. So a lot of you have asked, well, what if I want to group by a different column? Like, what if the job status is important to me? Can I group by that column? Well, no, you never had that capability. So first of all, yes, you can. You can see you still have a lot of the same capabilities for the grid layout manipulation that we had in this jobs list view function. But now if I go to the settings and export button down here at the bottom right, you'll see a new option here. Show grouping zone. So let's click this and watch what happens up here where the column headings are. It's going to lower the column headings and it's going to show you a blank gray area with the resource column up there. Our default view is grouped by resource. That's why the resource column is singled out at the top. So what if I wanted to group by a second column as well, the job status? Well, here's what you can do. Left click it with your left mouse button, hold it down, and just drag it up here. Basically anywhere in this gray area at the top you can let it go. It's going to put it right next to the resources you can see. So I can really let it go anywhere. And it's going to put it right there. So now if you look at the way it's grouped, the first tier of grouping is by the resource, second tier status. So Alice 4, build 1 status, new another status. So that would be the grouping zones. And again, if you mess up, you can always go back to load the default grid layout. But then if you are happy with your changes and you want them to retain, remember to click Save Grid Layout. Very important step. So there's some nice enhancements down to the user level. You guys should all enjoy those.